What's up again there, guys? Brian here, D3 Topics Gamer here, share with you another one of my worst to best character ranking tier list videos to share with you guys today. Now, yesterday I uploaded a character tier list ranking for all the Devil May Cry characters, and in order to do my part, in order to promote MGS Con 3, which currently is in the middle and has only like a few days left in order to get its Kickstarter completed, I decided to pop on my MGS Con 1 hat, my MGS Con 2 shirt, and hopefully do a Metal Gear Solid character tier list ranking video in order to help do my part to promote it. So if you do happen to enjoy this video by the end, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Keep track of me on all my future videos. And remember, if any of you guys have any ideas for future ranking videos, whether they be tier lists or just top 10 list videos, or you want me to just talk about something, or you just have a request for a video, please let me know what you would like to see in the comments down below, and I will try to get it up to as soon as I can, as well as to give you a shout out at the beginning. So, Metal Gear Solid. By far, my favorite video game franchise of all time. I think it easily has one of the most compelling, most complex stories, and coming from the mind of the brilliant Hideo Kojima. Now, if you go by a number of factors, the tier list video that I was able to find online actually has a good amount of characters. There's like a few small, like forgotten ones I don't think people will bring up mention, but I think this is a pretty solid list. So the way I have them ranked, I go from Legend, which is pretty much S and A tier characters. Great characters, which are more B. Had their moments is kind of like C-ish. Needs development is more of like a D. Characters I absolutely despise and deserve death or F. Or you could just say they're kind of forgettable because I quite literally just can't remember who they are. So we're going to start off in order like we did with the last video. And what do you know? Starting off real strong, we have Big Boss. Big Boss is an absolute legend. You can't argue with that. He is a legend. He is probably the... You could say who's a bigger main character between Big Boss and Solid Snake. I would say the edge is slightly Big Boss because a lot of things that Solid Snake does are in because of what Big Boss did. So yeah, definitely a legend. Starting off strong. Major Zero. I think Major Zero is... The way I view it, I think Major Zero had his moments, but the funny thing is, he isn't given much actual screen time, but it's the things he does behind the scenes that aren't so upfront with the games that affect it in a big way. So essentially, this is a character who has a massive effect on the story of Metal Gear, or the entire Metal Gear timeline, without actually being, like, front with it. Like, you never actually see him do these things, but you see the results of what he's doing behind the scenes. So because of it, I do think he has his moments, but he is a very, very important character in terms of how everything broke down over the course of the many decades that Metal Gear technically spans. Ooh, now we got Solid Snake. Definitely legend. Again, you could kind of debate as to who's the bigger main character between Big Boss and Solid Snake, but yeah, Solid Snake, incredible character, probably, and he was like the first protagonist that we ever got to play with, if you're talking back to the old school Metal Gear games, so that's where I put him. Ocelot, Revolver Ocelot, absolutely great character. Had an incredible life, going from being a member of, what the heck is the Ocelot unit, and then working with Volgin, and then he becomes a founding member of the Patriots and kind of becomes a double agent, and then he really kind of works in order to kind of work with Big Boss, and then he ends up working with Slugwood, and just an incredible lifespan, incredible character. The only thing that kind of stops him from being a legend is that near the end, it gets a little too complicated, but yeah. Next, we have Liquid Snake. Where would I put Liquid? I think you have to put Liquid as a great character because he's really the most present in terms of directly, I would say, in Metal Gear, and then he kind of takes over Ocelot's body, kind of, in Metal Gear Solid 2, and then it gets even more complicated in Metal Gear Solid 4. But yeah, I would definitely say he was definitely the strongest. And he's like kind of the primary semi-antagonist of like the second half of the Metal Gear timeline. So yeah, I think Liquid would be a great character. Eve. Eve is also a fantastic character. Another obvious member of the founding members of the Patriots. Mother to Solid and Liquid. Was a double spy in order to recover the Philosopher's Legacy. Worked with Big Boss. Was kind of knew the boss before that. So again, much like Ocelot, incredible life, and I think that her ending in Metal Gear Solid 4 was like a fitting conclusion to her character. And what do you know? We have Liquid Ocelot, who is technically Ocelot that is kind of someone being controlled by the arm of Liquid Snake. It's a little bit complicated with the whole nano machines story element in 4 that gets really pushed. But yeah, I would say he's definitely a great character, even though he's only really appearances in the 4th game. Okay, who the hell are you? I gotta admit, I have no idea who this woman is. I know where she's from. She's from Peace Walker, and I think she's the leader of a resistance. But that's all I know of her, and I can't even remember her name. So yeah. Stillman, the bomb expert. I think I gotta go with he had his moment. Like, he really had a singular role in Metal Gear Solid 2. Unfortunately, spoiler alert, he got killed. But he seemed like a pretty noble character who felt like he had done some bad things in the past and he was seeking some sort of redemption. And you can't go wrong with a character like that. There's a lot of characters in Metal Gear who are seeking redemption. Next, we have, the boss. The boss is, without question, in my opinion, the single most important character in the entire franchise. Everything that happens from beginning to end is built around what the boss wanted for the world. Even the creation of the Patriot system and what the Patriots stood for and what they wanted for the future was based off of what they interpreted as the boss's will. And that is what ultimately started the divide between Big Boss and Major Zero, which ultimately led to the creation of the program of the Patriot system, which ultimately leads to kind of how the world ends up being the way it is by Metal Gear Solid 4. So yeah, without question, boss, absolute legend, single most important character in the entire franchise, without question. Next, we have Colonel Campbell. Awesome, great character. Worked with Big Boss in Portable Ops, worked with Solid Snake, worked with Raiden, has an amazing track record with characters, great lifespan, and heck, even did a number of real shady stuff near the end. Father of Meryl, you cannot go wrong with Colonel Campbell. I have no idea who this person is, but I know they're in like Phantom Pain. Otacon. Otacon is a legend. Yeah. I mean, going from pissing his pants in Metal Gear Solid to working like solely with Solid Snake in order to destroy Metal Gear weapons or expose them, and then becomes just a great character in Metal Gear Solid 4. Yeah, absolutely, without question. He's a legend. I have no idea who this character is. Next, Drebin. I'm a good Mr. Gun Launderer in Metal Gear Solid 4. I think he's there mainly for information. He does pop in and help out the cast a couple times, providing them with weapons. And he is pretty much the main person who gives you the backstory on a lot of the Beauty and the Beast member units. But apart from that, I don't think he does a couple things that have like major effects to a lot of important characters. But yeah, because he only really appeared in one character, he is quite limited in his impactfulness in the story. But it's very, very effective, even though it is singled out in only Metal Gear Solid 4. So that's where I would put him. Emma, EE. Oh man, I love Emma. Brilliant hacker, very nice character, had a lot of bravery near the end, and easily one of the top, I would say maybe 2 or 3 saddest conclusions. What happened to her did get me emotional first time I played it. So yeah, she's an absolutely great character. I would even say I would put her pretty close to there. But I love EE. The end. We don't. The funny thing I will say this. A heads up for a lot of the boss characters. Most of them need development. They are there simply to take on the main character, get killed, and move on. So most of them really have a moment, or I felt like they could have been better. So I think that maybe 1 or 2 characters might be great characters, but for the majority of those type of boss-like characters, they kind of fall in, they either had their moment or you need more development. And I certainly think that the end being the father of modern sniping certainly need more development. For a character that important, they could have done more of him. Fat Man. Mr. Bomber. The funny thing about Fat Man, I actually got this at last year, or technically this year. The Fat Man plushie. Picked it up at MGS Con 2 this year. Fat Man. I think he had his moments. I mean, again, he's a standard boss. He shows up, does his thing, puts a whole bunch of bombs around the big shield. You defuse them, you take him on, you kill him, and that's the last we see of him. he does outsmart Stillman, and like, Stillman's pretty sad about that. But yeah, that's where I would Fat Man. Fortune, another character, had her moment. She shows up. She apparently may have like fortune abilities that she can't be killed, she can't be shot, she can't be like, she has like a somewhat powers a little bit. That's a little bit confusing at times, and then it's revealed that that's not so much the case. But I think there a lot could have been done with Fortune, but like, she is quite limited. The Fury, needed development. We hardly know much about him anyway. I'll put you there. Gray Fox, Frank Yeager, also known as the Perfect Soldier, and Null as a younger man. Great character. Very, very impactful. Had a lot of cool moments. First appearance, he was actually kidnapped in the first Metal Gear game, and then he turns on you in Metal Gear 2, and then and the rest of his life is history. But yeah, I would definitely put Gray Fox, Frank Yeager, and Null and the Perfect Soldier all as great characters. Mako needed development. He didn't really do too much. Kind of forgettable, really, but yeah. Ooh. Oh my god. I feel bad I can't remember him. But this is Otacon's father. Oh, I feel bad. But he's a scumbag. So I'm gonna give him, he deserves death. Awful character. I forget his name, but like he's a very awful character. Even though he's Otacon's dad. Mei Ling. Mei Ling had her moments, but I would actually say she was borderline almost a great character. I mean, given where she started in Metal Gear 1, and then where she ended up being at the end of Metal Gear Solid 4, so she had an amazing amount of development. Just not quite the level of all-time greatness. I have no idea who you are. All I know is that we run into you in Peace Walker, and you talk about birds. That's all I know. Rose had her moments, but not enough to be a great character. Had a relationship with Raiden, and stuff happened, and then she gets threatened by the Patriots, and then she does a little bit more. She becomes the primary psychiatrist in Metal Gear Solid 4 to Solid Snake. Wait a minute. I'm getting that wrong. That's not Rose, that's paramedic. But you know what? I would well, no. Yeah, paramedic didn't really do too much. Yeah, sorry, paramedic. Founding member of the Patriots. Worked on Frank Yeager in order to make him the perfect soldier after he was damaged in Zanzibar land. A lot of the founding members of the Patriots didn't do too much past the third game. They really didn't do too much. The president. I mean, he didn't really do anything. I mean, outside of give you a code. That's about it. I can't even remember who you are. All I know is you're part of Meryl's crew from Metal Gear Solid 4, and that's about it. Hideo Kojima. Well, obviously he's a legend, of course. I mean, can't go wrong with him. He put himself in his own game. Next, we have Laughing Octopus. Interesting character, but certainly needed development. I mean, the only real information we get of her is what Drebin tells us after we beat her. Funny thing enough, for all the members of the Beauty and the Beast unit in 4, I never actually kill them. I always knock them out. And I think one of them actually has a pretty good conclusion to their character, and I thought was really, really cool. So, yeah. I swear, I cannot remember your name. I think your name is Little Gray, but it's Drebin's little buddy. I think his name is Little Gray. So I'm going to partner you up with Drebin. As in, you don't doesn't really do too much, but kind of funny just to be there. Kind of funny. Psycho Mantis. Ooh, that's tough. I'll say you got your moment. Almost great character. Very, very impactful with the breaking of the fourth barrier and affecting our controller and even being able to read our memory card. Pretty cool. Sunny. Oh, I love Sunny. She's a great character. Love Sunny. Olga's daughter from Metal Gear Solid 2. And then she does more. In fact, she's actually one of the... I think she and Raiden are the only reappearing characters that show up in Rising. So, yeah. Oh, definitely. Love Sunny. Raiden is a great character. Redeemable character. I mean, he goes from doing butt-naked cartwheels in Metal Gear Solid 2 to being a badass ninja in Metal Gear Solid 4. So yeah, he definitely and becomes even more badass in Rising. So yeah, great character. Borderline almost legend. Just can't quite put him there. Master Miller. Master Miller is a great character. Very impactful. Has a lot of connections to a lot of major players over the course of the franchise. Bit of a scumbag, but like the kind of scumbag that you can acknowledge like why he is important to the franchise. Siget. Another founding member of the Patriots. He kind of works on like kind of your weapons a little bit and kind of gives you information on how things work, and then he kind of becomes like the Darba chief, but gets murdered later on. You kind of run into him in Metal Gear Solid when he dies in a prison cell. So yeah, Johnny's interesting, but I think I'll put him as he had his moments, but I would say he really had his main moment in Metal Gear Solid 4 because the character of Johnny has always been treated as like a joke character, and even over the course of 4, he like spends the time having diarrhea and shitting his pants. But like he really kind of redeems himself in the end in 4 of being like a total badass and going on to marry Meryl. So to take a character who was over the course of the franchise had been treated like a joke, for him to have like a really awesome moment in the end, I think is very cool. But yeah, Johnny works for me. Meryl is a great character. Very great character. Daughter of Campbell, gets married to Johnny. Very, very loyal to Solid Snake and befriends him. Capable commander and wants to do the right thing. And she's a tomboy, but she's not afraid to show her vulnerable side at times. And I respect that. Women, there's nothing wrong with women being vulnerable, and there's nothing wrong with them being able to tough and handle themselves. I respect a woman that can know the perfect balance between the two sides. Ooh, Naomi. Naomi's a great character. Naomi, somewhat villainous at times, but you can kind of understand why she does the things she does. Kind of adopted sister of Frank Yeager, aka Great Fox. Has her own agenda, trying to take out the Patriots. Does even more in Metal Gear Solid 4. I don't want to spoil what she does, but yeah. The Pain. You could have done more with the Pain. Pause. You could have done some more Pause. Quiet. Shut up. Die. Mr. Gay Lover of Volgan. Who we knock out. I guess you could have done more of him. Vulcan Raven. I think both versions were really good. I think they had their key moments. I think Vulcan Raven's monologue at the end of his version in his final monologue in both variations of Metal Gear Solid and Twin Snakes were very, very well handled. So yeah, that's where I would put him. Next, we have Rose. Rose, I would say, borderline, great character. Definitely becomes better in Metal Gear Solid 4, so that's where I would put her. I've totally forgotten who this character is, but I know it's Fortune's father, who gets killed at the beginning of Metal Gear Solid 2. I think you're Laughing Mantis. I think you are. I think they didn't really do much with you. Olga's father needed development, could have done more. Sokolov had his moment. Odd how he kind of appears in a later game. I won't say which one. The Pain, important character, but I'll say he had his moment. Johnny's father, Johnny. I mean, could have done more, but heck, he did have his moment. Dr. Strangelove. Odd character. I mean, I was under the impression she was a lesbian, but apparently this is Otacon's mother. I don't know how that worked out, but I'll say like she had her moment. The Fear, again, another member of the Cobras, could have done more with. Shows up, does his thing, dies, and then we forget about him. Vamp. Vamp is one of the few exceptions of a villain-like character who was actually great. Hated him in Metal Gear Solid 2. Got cranked up in Metal Gear Solid 4, but he ended up being somewhat tragic, so that's where I'm going to put him. Volgan, I hate Volgan. He deserves death, but he is a great antagonist. An absolute sadist, highly memorable. Kind of has a somewhat appearance in a later game, but yeah. Sniper Wolf. Great character. I think she's probably the best villainous character in Metal Gear Solid franchise. Just amazing, amazing dynamic character. Easily. Solidus. They could have done so much with Solidus. I mean, being the third clone of Big Boss, he is the one I think they do the least amount with. I mean, he trained Raiden. He is a perfect clone of Big Boss. I mean, when you take the clones of Big Boss, you have Solidus that I think has the dominant cells. Liquid has the recessive, or I might have them reversed. I'm getting a little bit mixed up. But like, Solidus was a perfect clone and kind of used as a plot device in the fourth game. But yeah, they could have done so much with him. Skullface, death. Ew. Venom. You are an absolute scumbag and deserve death. An absolute fraud. And Decoy Octopus didn't really do anything. I mean, by the time we meet him, he's dead. But apparently he can, like, copy his targets to the blood. But, like, by doing that, he absorbed the blood of the Darba Chief, which allowed the Fox Die and Salt Snake to kill him. But he wanted information. It was weird. So, kind of a weird character, but I guess he could have used some development. And that about does it for my Metal Gear Solid characters tier list ranking. I dare anyone to try to give this a try, but yeah, this is how I would rank the majority of the primary Metal Gear Solid cast. I hope you guys like this video, and yeah, please support MGS Con. I'll be sure to leave a link to the Kickstarter in the description down below, and like always, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I will see you guys next time.